All right, brother Darrell, we on.
Greetings and welcome to another powerful edition of the Community Defender Talk Show. One powerful hour of truth, dispelling falsehood. I'm your host, Brother Darrell Muhammad, as we embark upon another wonderful edition of this Community Defender Talk Show. Now, before I introduce our guest, Brother Dr. August Malvo, a distinguished professor at Southern University, at the Southern University, I want to mention that this broadcast marks the 27th year that we have been on air in the AOC area. We have been 27 years in the game. I want to, of course, thank our producer, Sister Khadija. I want to also thank Brother Jay. I want to thank our early director, Sister Jamila Segmet, who was there. I want to thank Akatabu Bakta and other people who made a marvelous contribution and believed in what we were doing here at AOC and at the Community Defender. And of course, I wanted to let everybody know we are 27 years in the game as of tonight. All right. We are 27 years in the game. And for Black people to do something consistently for 27 years, we have to really believe in it. And so we're just grateful. We're thanking God for the impact that we've been able to have. Now, we're going to be discussing evaluation over celebration. Evaluation over celebration. And as you know, it is what we call the 4th of July weekend. Some people have called it the 4th of July weekend because that freedom that we were promised, we still have not received. And we look at it as a lie. And Brother Takuna Shabazz used to call it the 4th of July. And of course, I want to bring on our distinguished professor, Dr. August Malvo, who is a professor of history at the Southern University, who is in a supreme position to make a great impact and shape the minds of our young people. How you doing, Dr. Malvo?
I'm doing great today.
Awesome. Now, if you would like, before we get into our topic, if you would like, would you like to mention any of the project that you're working? I know some stuff you're kind of have it in the womb, so to speak, and there are other things that you may want to mention. But feel free, Dr. Malvo.
So currently, I'm working on a project dealing with Louisiana race massacres. Many of you probably aware of the Colfax massacre, but within this particular research, I'm also going to be including the Thibodeau race massacre, the Opelousas race massacre, several race massacres that took place throughout the state of Louisiana, and some of the other acts of racial violence going into the 20th century.
Man, that is absolutely awesome. And as you know, those who are not mindful of history are often condemned to repeat it. And I mean the worst part of it. So let us understand that history is a major part of us recapturing ourselves, the knowledge of ourselves, the knowledge of not only the great accomplishments, but also the things that we survived to be where we are today. I want to mention to you in all that's happened, and I know our brother director should have it queued up, where the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is telling us how to be on code. And too many of us on the internet and on the talking heads on the media are just not on code as we should be. And for those of you who do not understand what the black code is, what we're going to have is we're going to have the minister, we're going to have the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, who recently lost his wife. And I want to mention Mother Khadijah. Do we have a shot of her? Mother Khadijah, her janaza service was this past Friday. She had been married to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan for 72 years. 72 years. And as he said, she was the wind beneath his wings. And she, of course, will be greatly missed, a divine woman of God, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, married 72 years to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and of course, the First Lady of the Nation of Islam. This hit us very hard. It was very rough, but we thank Allah for the life of Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, who has been an inspiration to all women all over the world, and an inspiration to us all of steadfastness under trial. And like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, not behind every great man is a great woman. He said, but right beside every great man is a great woman. And the greatness of Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, her love for children, all of the many things that she was involved in, we would need a whole hour to mention the depth and breadth of her contribution to the Nation of Islam and to the Black people as a whole. And so we honor her, and we thank Almighty God for her and for her life. 72 years of marriage to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, 72 years of marriage, a wonderful example of steadfastness. Now, I wanted to mention, for those of you who do not understand the code that we're going to be on, I want to mention this. Brother Director, do you have that queued up where the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is giving us what to do, what code we should be on?
Defend your people. Defend them with all the truth that you know. Defend your people. Even in their apparent wrong, I say, defend your people. Never take the white man's side. Never take the white man's side against your people. Never take his side. Even if it appears that our brother is wrong, don't take the side of the enemy. You see one of your brothers switching down the street, and some white man says, look at that sissy. Don't you say, yeah, look at that sissy. You see, probably if he hadn't met your fathers, he wouldn't be that way. They got the damn nerve to talk about some black man who is weak and sick. I'll take Mayor Barry off in the corner and smack the hell out of him, but never would I make the enemy think that I'm an enemy of my brother. Never take the enemy's side. I defend black people. Bring me a murderer on death row, I can get him off. Because I know he wouldn't be none of that if he were taught right from the beginning.
And of course, that is a clip, famous clip. We pulled it off the internet. That is the code that all of our people should be on. All right. Now, we just had the anniversary of the Alton
Brother Darrell, we got Brother Eugene on the line. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Let me just make this point.
Okay.
We had the anniversary of the Alton Sterling murder, and and when you see that murder, and when you see the police union firmly behind the murderer, not giving an inch in terms of them being with the murderer, we have to make sure we stand with all of our people in righteousness. And the code that Black people should be on was perfectly articulated in that clip by the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. I just wanted to lay that out there. Let's go ahead on and hear from our brother Eugene Collins.
Go ahead, good brother.
Hey, brother, how you doing? And brother, you're so right. I remember when the police union came out with that decision. I was still president of NAACP at the time. I put out a statement, and I called their statement both vile and disgusting. Because that's exactly what they were presenting at that time. They had no value for Black life. So, brother, I'm so glad that you brought that up. And we just got past this so-called Independence Day. I think that particular statement is right on point, Brother Muhammad. Because when we look at the Honorable Minister, he's always been spot on about what we can expect from this devil in this country.
Absolutely. And, of course, I think he articulates the code that we all should be on. And he mentioned Mayor Barry. You know, Mayor Barry was caught up in a scandal, caught up in a sting. And his thing was when they asked him, what do you think about a person that uses drugs and this, that, and the other, and does this? And I remember the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, what are you talking about? You talking about JFK? You talking about Kennedy? And the reporter just kind of left him alone because he was not going to be used as an instrument to denigrate his brother. And I think that's the way we all should be as people who are mature in this thing called the struggle. Now, Dr. Malvo, I wanted to bring you in. What are your thoughts in this so-called 4th of July weekend that we've been dealing with as a notable historian yourself?
When it comes to the 4th of July, I think it was very important for us to always control the narrative. And oftentimes people try to tell us or paint a picture of the 4th of July, and sometimes we accept what others have given us. And I think as oppressed people being, we have to be very mindful of what people try to hand down to us. I did like the commentary from Frederick Douglass many years ago in reference to the 4th of July. I think that everyone should read that particular speech that he gave in terms of the 4th of July. I do believe that everyone should know that at the time in which the 4th of July, the actual 4th of July, we were in bondage. We were in slavery. We was in a situation where we had fought an American Revolutionary War, and many who have given their lives were told a lie about a country that was supposed to come in existence, that is supposed to be about freedom. Okay, and so there were some promises that was made that was never granted when this country comes into existence. The 4th of July, July the 4th, 1776, is taking place in the second year of the war. And let me put it in some historical context. The so-called individuals who were over the country at the time, who were part of the Continental Congress at the time, had gotten word that the French was going to enter the war effort. So they decided to declare their independence, even though the war itself had not come to an end. Well, right after 1777, the Battle of Saratoga, the French did come into the war effort. And with the French brought Africans to fight. And many Africans fought on the side of the French. You know, there's a story of James Armistead Lafayette that should be taught in school. So we have to control the narrative of how we perceive these holidays like the 4th of July, and understand that with these holidays and this wonderful and all the fireworks and everything, there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of betrayal that took place as all of this is manifested. We have to have that understanding, and we have to teach our young people what this truly means. Okay. And that's why I was so happy that in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, we had those Juneteenth celebrations to reflect on our struggle as a people and to learn lessons from our struggle. One thing that we need to always take an account. When others try to spoon feed us history, we should always be very mindful, or very I should say very skeptical of anything that they're trying to give to us. Okay, so we have to do our research. We have to remind ourselves of our struggle, and I praise all of those who, the George Washington Williams, the people like W.B. Du Bois, who wrote to make sure that the next generation understand what really took place in the so-called annals of American history and world history. So that is very important for us to control the narrative, and these commercial holidays. A lot of people spend millions and millions of dollars. I guess the several communities spent combined trillions of, probably billions of dollars celebrating this holiday, which was ultimately a point of betrayal. Okay, they had no intentions of ending slavery. Slavery brought the country a lot of wealth. Okay, they had no intentions of treating African people as equals in this country. Okay, so we have to continue to be self-determined, and we are in a constant struggle. Okay, our fight for civil rights, our fight for liberation is ongoing, and our young people, when they do listen to the narrative that they are giving oftentimes in the schools in America, they are delusional, thinking that there's freedom that they don't have. Just look at the society today, look at young people today. When I grew up, they used to tell us when we was less delusional, when that street light come on, you come in the house. Now you see 13, 14, 15-year-olds, 60-year-olds, young people out there, 10, 12, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we see what happens. We see it on the news. Okay. And this is the disconnect. Okay. The disconnect, they listening to this mind dope, and the mind dope is talking about being out at night. Well, we all know who comes out at night. Okay. We all are aware of who comes out at night. So and
might you be referring to the great philosophers Houdini from back in the 80s?
Pretty much, my brother, pretty much. We all know who comes out at night. So when they're out there on this thing called demon time, okay, what are the expectations? Okay, so this, without learning this history, you're pretty much delusional. Okay, it's kind of like this mind dope, this music, glorification of violence. Okay, all of this weird sexual content, this weird stuff that is past masochism and all this other stuff, and it's out there, and people try to normalize what is not to be normalized, and we're in an interracial war within our community between regular Black folks and those who have succumbed to this street culture and this violence that is out there.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of very negative social engineering that has taken place with our young people. And there's been a separation of our young people from us in many ways. A lot of times, and what I try to do on a weekly basis is to reach out to somebody who is 20, who is 18, who is 19. And you'll find, if you look in the log of my phone, that there are people in their 20s that I've made calls to. Too many of us don't really reach out to the young people to give them a little wisdom and to bridge that gap in our understanding and knowledge of history, so that we see things as they are rather than how we would like them to be. We need fact-based thinking rather than wishful thinking. And that's why we titled tonight's show Evaluation over Celebration, because we have to evaluate our actual position and condition in America. We can't look at the governor of Maryland, who is a wonderful brother. We can't just look at him and say, oh, we've made progress. What's the condition of the people in the country? We can't look at Barack Obama, very well-spoken brother. That is not an indication of the overall condition of the people.
Just symbolism.
Yeah, it's a lot of times symbol without substance. And I'm a person that votes in most elections. In the vast majority of elections, I'm gonna vote either early or whatever. I participate in voting, but I understand that in many ways it has a limited utility because politics without economics is symbol without substance. So all of the blowhards were saying vote, 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 but very few people are saying, hey, let us spend money with Black businesses. Let us get together and do something for ourselves. Let us, we're hollering for more things to be given, but there's much more that we can do for ourselves. And that is why I bring up very often, Dr. Malvo, the Million Man March, because the Million Man March had 2 million men there. According to modern analysis,
Yes.
okay, modern analysis, there were 250,000 people at the March on Washington. Now, growing up in high school, we always heard it was 100,000. But after the Million Man March, they upped the numbers of that march so that history could compete with the present. Now, here's my point. That march on Washington, with the famous speech by Dr. King, was done in conjunction with white folks. It was done in conjunction with the Kennedy administration, who approved everybody's speech before they got there. Okay, so now, oh, this is my daughter. She obviously doesn't know I'm on TV. So they approved it. Now, if we got 250,000, okay, 250,000 working with other people, when we did it by ourselves, we got 2 million, which is 8 times more people than we got, which means what? Yeah, it says something about the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, but it says something also that what we do on our own will be bigger than what we do, quote unquote, so-called, in a collaborative effort with other people who are often trying to undermine and control the direction that we go in. You see, and that's I think a great example when you compare what we did when it was just us and the world against the Million Man March, all the propaganda against it, and how you got nearly 2 million men on the mall, and you had thousands of 60,000 adoptions of Black children, greater voter participation, Black men joining all manner of organizations because of the inspiration of what we did ourselves. It has nothing to do with the hatred of others, but if I can do a better job of taking care of me myself, then that's what I need to do. I don't know, is Brother Collins still on?
Yes, brother.
Yeah.
If you can,
brother,
you can go ahead and weigh in, brother. And I'm gonna have you on, you and I at some point. But if you can weigh in on what we've elaborated on thus far.
Yeah, I mean, brother, what you're talking about is do for self, right?
Yes,
and when you think about that concept, because you bring up a great point, we're always telling people to vote, right? And I ain't against voting. And I'm like you, I vote in most elections, right? But when people say, hey, I don't want to vote because it doesn't change anything in my community, I often tell folks, ride the community and see that they're not lying. The same house that was falling down under Obama, falling down under Trump, right? The same tree sign that was leaning under Obama, leaning under Trump. So in certain sections of our community, in certain underserved populations, no matter how they voted, their community has gradually looked worse, right? So we got to go a bit deeper into voting. And I think this past weekend highlights this. It's not just about white and black, right? Because we know that every Negro is for us, right? So when we look at voting, it's not just voting, it's knowing the candidate as well, right? It's going into the candidate and figuring out who funded them, right? Where their money came from. Because whoever's writing the check, that's who really in control, right? The politician don't hold nothing but the seat. A lot of times they don't even hold the power, right? So we have to not only tell people to vote, but we got to teach them how to vote too. If we don't, the community is going to continue to look the same.
I totally agree. I totally agree, brother. And let me just say this: one thing that's just definitely that Mr. Collins is definitely pointing out, and you said you touched upon it too, brother Darrell, is that there's a certain amount of things that we must learn as a community, and we're not going to learn in the institutions that others have that have designed for us to go to. So there's a lot of learning that needs to take place within the community. I attended the Million Man March. I organized for the Million Man March. I when I went to the Million Man March, I seen there was something unique that I never been around. That means conscious-minded black men in my life, and that was something. That was the last time I had been around that many conscious black men in my life. And I think for some people, when they heard what was said up there at the Million Man March, it kind of shook them, because for the first time you heard real voices, real concerns about mass incarceration, and the drugs that have flooded our community, and gang violence, and all of these things that are pushed upon our communities and allowed in our communities. And of course, others are playing a part in all of this. One thing I would like to say is that when it comes to controlling the narrative and getting out of this celebratory thing that we do for these holidays, we must teach lessons. We must teach lessons. What did we learn from Trayvon Martin situation? Okay, what was the lesson there? Okay, should our children think it's safe just because they can go walk at night and thinking that white folks in America, there are not white folks in America that wants to kill them? There are white people in America wants to kill you because your color is black. I don't know every white person, but I know, and from my analysis of history, there are white folks in America who can't wait to kill you. Okay, that's what I know. Okay, and you don't have to do them anything. And this idea that these young people think about justice when they're approached by the police, why is there an expectation that they are going to respect you? Okay, why is the expectation? There should not be that expectation. Okay, history shows us the type of violence that what happens to Castile and others who complied with the law officers' commands and were still killed.
No doubt about it.
Okay,
no doubt about it.
So this idea, this delusional idea of what justice looked like, or everybody has to, or just because it's this idea of self-defense. Okay, I had this conversation the other day about what happened with Carmelo Anthony, and I told someone this. Just imagine Carmelo Anthony being white, and just imagine those individuals who attacked him being black. Will we still be talking about this in the same way today?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Dr. Melvin. We certainly wouldn't be looking at it in the same way. And even a lot of our people, and that's why I wanted to play that clip of how to stay on code. Even a lot of our people try to make excuses. Well, why did he carry the knife? Why do these rednecks come into the Walmart with a sidearm?
Right.
And sometimes what were they looking for? So you do have white males carry guns all in the grocery store. And nobody questions, well, why did they have to have that weapon? They must have had something on their mind. Well, if nobody questions them in his Second Amendment, right, the right to bear arms, and arms is not just a firearm. The right to bear arms is the right to have a weapon to defend yourself.
That's correct.
Any weapon is an arm, a shield, a sword, a knife, a cannon, the right to bear arms. So it's a situation where we departed from that as it relates to our brother. And again, our brother warned them not to put their hands on.
Brother
And
Darren.
whenever you touch a man, I
Brother
don't
Darren.
care how big the man is, how small the man is, whenever you touch a man, anything can happen.
Brother Darren, we have another phone. We have another person on the line, on the other line. You want to take that phone?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah. Hey guys, good topic, and you got some powerful mind, Dr. Melville. You got my respect from the last show. But look, let me elaborate on some of the things y'all talked about. You know, y'all talk about the topic of education, evaluation over celebration. But what we need is our liberation to our education, meaning that we need to learn what we need to learn for ourselves. We keep sending our children to these institutions that makes them believe they are part of this American society. And then when they get there, they forget who they represent. They become one of them and tell us we got to go get indoctrinated too. And y'all said about the 4th of July. You meant the force of daylight, because that's nothing but buffoonery. The white folks are finding out they're not free. And what's happening right now, everything that done to us is being done to them. And we got to understand we really don't need them. We are the smartest, educated, indoctrinated people on the planet. But why are we still playing a game called voting? You know, if you go and look at political science, voting is about business. And the business is to keep the people in their business, not to help the people, but to make sure they be suffering enough to vote for anything thinking it's going to save them. We are intelligent people falling damn fools. We got to understand without us, there is no them. And if we stop voting, white folks will see what we done saw, because every time we vote, we save them. Because their politician has been hurting them, and now they're starting to see the great white hope Trump, the 34 convicted felon, that they're always talking about decorum and ethics. They don't even have it, because the Democrats let this man get in after he was convicted. So to the black people, hug yourself, because look, we are blessed. They cannot hurt us unless they hurt their own. And their biggest problem right now, they cannot give us our recognition because they are suffering. But they got to try to keep saying black, black, brown, black, black, brown, and it's really white, white, white who trying to be white. So guys, y'all keep saying what y'all saying, and y'all mentioned about Barack Obama, the Mr. Colored guy who was the allusion to our inclusion. That's the one who distracted us. He's part of the system, and we got to stop fighting for these black folks who don't fight for us when they get in office. You give them your consent, and they give you their contempt. It doesn't matter what we do or what we march on. If we keep following them, we are going to stay in bondage. Go read the Constitution. It tells everybody if any form of government is being in suffrage towards you or destructive towards you, you have the right to abolish. We just got our pulling card from the Constitution. Just like America wanted their freedom from Britain, that's our freedom from them. So wake up and stop following people that talk the talk but don't walk it. Keep saying what y'all saying, guys, because your minds are on point. This don't tell our people to vote, because Donald Trump is showing people the hypocrisy that's really in this government. This is autocracy, not democracy. Once they're going to realize that when we backing out, people going to start seeing that we've been saving this country all along for this 250 years. Because white folks are suffering black folks. They are the minority. That's why they always bully us with their rules. But keep saying what y'all saying, because our evaluation is about us, not them, or including them. Thank y'all, and have a nice night. And every day we wake up, guys, is our independence from them. We just got to stop being under them.
Look, this is what I want to do. I don't know if you have it queued up, Brother Director, but there's a 2-minute clip I want to show where Barack Obama was asked.
Brother Eugene was trying to see, ask you a question first. And
Go ahead,
Brother.
Brother Eugene. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add to what the caller said. Right now, like I said earlier, I vote in most elections, right? So I do understand the power of it, and we put our resources into that system whether we want to or not. So we have to engage in it, right? But I agree with the brother. The outcomes don't always equal positivity in our community for us, right? But at the same time, we got to get into the crux of the fallacy of Independence Day, right? First off, you claim independence in a land that you stole. You can't go past that, right? And the founding fathers in themselves were hypocrites, right? And we have to look at what that means, because their fight was completely about taxation without representation. And right now, what we see them doing is rolling back 2 black congressional seats, right? So they're actually doing the exact same thing to us in 2026 that the British did to them back then, right?
Yes.
They're implementing these things over and over again because we're dealing with the same person, right? I don't care whether you're from England or whether you grew up in Maine or whether you grew up in California, we're dealing with the same white man, right? So because of that, we see them doing exactly what their ancestors did, right? Except they're finding a new population of folks to do it to. So when you look at that, it just presents an enormous fallacy that you can claim independence in something that was never yours to begin with. But we know that's been the way of the colonizer. The other point that the brother brought up is an extremely important point. If you look at something I've studied a lot, the Baton Rouge bus boycott, right? That boycott was actually organized in about 24 hours. They met at a church. They decided to go out that night with their tennis shoes on and knock doors and tell people that they were going to boycott the bus system. Reverend Jinks snuck on the largest radio station here in Baton Rouge and announced the bus boycott, which became the blueprint for mass boycott across the country, right? But that wasn't established by no elected official. That was established by a large, bustling black middle class anchored by Southern University. And I bring up that point because before black folks had political seats, we had money and we had power. And we had institutions that we still owned, right? And we look at the fallacy of integration, right? We had our own schools. We never asked to go to schools with white folks. What we asked for was comparable books, comparable buildings, and the same thing that you eat at your school, we want our kids to eat. That's what we asked for, right? Instead, we got this other thing, we're busing kids halfway across town, right? So when we look at the things that we actually got from elected officials, a lot of those things are things we never asked for. And if we look at our greatest leaders, who we say have probably progressed black folks the farthest throughout the plight of our history in this country, none of them held elected office. And we can't forget that.
Absolutely.
So true.
Without
true.
a doubt. So true. So true. You're absolutely right. Did not hold elective office and really made a great impact. Now, brother director, do you have that 2-minute clip ready for us?
Yes, sir.
And because I just want you to listen to these 2 minutes. I talked about it on our last show about what Barack Obama said about the accomplishments of his presidency. And I just want you to listen because some of y'all, didn't believe me. The feedback I got, y'all didn't believe it. So it's no problem. We're going to go ahead and bring Barack Obama, Brother Barack, to the witness stand. Go ahead, brother director.
States of America.
They will.
And what do you consider your greatest accomplishment?
Look, there's a lot of stuff I'm proud of. For all the resistance from our political opposition, the Affordable Care Act has now helped 50, 60 million people and continues to help people, even though the current Congress has tried to weaken it and taken away some of the subsidies that were really helping a lot of working people. I will tell you, when I go through the exhibits, the thing I'm probably the most proud of is the tone we set. The fact that we just had a bunch of amazing people working for us, with us, who were there for the right reasons, weren't trying to ask what was in it for them, weren't cutting corners, dedicated themselves every single day to just, how do I help the American people live their lives a little bit more securely and allow them to feel a little bit safer, have more opportunity. I'm very proud of the message we sent to the country that we're representing everybody, and we can have big, serious disagreements about issues, and I'm going to still care about you and represent you and try to bring the country together. Because I do think that ultimately, if we get that part of our democracy right, if our politics reflects our better instincts rather than our worst, we can solve a lot of the problems that we confront. And when we don't have that right, then I think we get into trouble and start inflicting damage on our, not.
Now, many of you didn't believe me when I said it. He mentioned the Affordable Care Act.
And he couldn't say nothing else.
He really didn't say anything else. And he talked about how, it's being underfunded, or really, and I used the word on last show, undermined. And he's most proud of the tone he set.
Tone.
Did not tell you that our children cannot eat. You cannot put tone in the refrigerator. I didn't feed my children with a tone. I didn't pay the light bill with a tone. So even he was grasping to try to find an actual accomplishment that was a permanent accomplishment that he could hang his hat on. And all he could really say is that we set a nice tone and we were nice to people. That's it.
He didn't do anything, brother, but manage the system.
President. Go ahead.
He didn't do anything, brother, but manage the system as it was.
Yeah, and I will say that he managed the system better than the previous person. And I said it before that his presidency was largely a janitorial presidency, like black man cleaning up the white man's mess. That is what it largely was to me. He was a janitor cleaning up the mess that the other people made, and they paid him back by making sure that an openly racist Donald Trump got in. And when that happened, for me, a lot of it was over. You understand? So after his first term, for me, it's been over. In terms of the Democrats on a national level, I haven't voted for the Democrats or the Republicans since Barack Obama ran for his first term. After that, it's been third party the whole time. I voted for Cornel West last time. No, I can't vote for either one of them. Because after what Barack Obama did, after he upped the ante on Assata Shakur, after he did all of these decidedly anti-black things, and if America was to bomb Tel Aviv, the Jewish community, and rightly so, would be in an uproar. For us to allow him to bomb Libya, bomb Somalia, bomb Sudan, and kill thousands of African people.
That's right.
And the black bourgeoisie said nothing.
Nothing.
Did not challenge him on what he did. I was done at that point.
For good reason.
It was over with for me. It was over with for me. I could not understand why. And I think had black people stood up, meaning black people in leadership stood up and criticized those things, they would have literally made him and actually better president. Because if the black community would have stood up when he went into Libya, he would have backed off because he would have known I'm not getting a second term. If black people would have stood up when he did the Somalia thing, I think that there are things that he would not have done had black folks opened their mouths. But because we were so engrossed in the symbol, in the symbology of a black first family,
Yes.
we didn't have black first policies. And in reality, a lot of it was detrimental.
Brother Darrell, we have a call on the line. Sister Khadijah's on the line.
Okay, go ahead, Khadijah. And of course, this is our producer who's about to talk with us on our 27th anniversary of the Community Defender. Go ahead, Sister Khadijah.
Yes, a fantastic program as always. How you doing, Brother Darrell? Assalamu alaikum. Brother Dr. Melville. I wanted to say hello to you too. Looking forward to doing something with you in the future. I just wanted to mention that when y'all was speaking about Barack, I mean, he did do something really good for the LGBTQZ community. He helped them out really, really good. And then we also had like George Washington Carver that discovered over 200 something medicine, different things on behalf of with the peanuts and everything. And not one state always was given praise somewhat to his adopted, not really adopted. He was a young slave. So the white master and Mrs. they decided to have him to be a house slave and go out in the field. However, do you ever wonder why he never had no children? It's because they took and they castrated him when he was a young child. So when you look at the other George Washington, he had false teeth and had the slaves had slaves, not dead slaves, had slaves that teeth were pulled out so that he could have him some dentures. So you understand why they don't want the truth to come out about their history, why they want to continue to lie. They act like they plumb forgot about reparation, but most other people, they wind up receiving reparation. And that butcher, the father of medicine, what is his name? Sims. He was nothing but a outright butcher. What he done to these women, to these black women, without any type of sedative, without anything, he should be removed. All the statues that they allegedly have of him, that should be removed because he was a low down hypocrite. Thank you.
Absolutely, and we definitely appreciate our producer calling in and giving us that history, because again, we've been given, I believe, a false narrative, a bunch of slogans. That's why mainstream media, which is mainstream, is just a euphemism for European. Okay, whenever somebody says mainstream education, you really mean European education. If you're talking about mainstream news, it's European news. All right. So I read the final call. I look for alternative media sources that have more fact-based discussions rather than the repetition of a bunch of slogans that are not facts. And so that's probably why one of the reasons why I remain probably a little bit better informed. That and the fact that I do read books. So reading books is very helpful to being informed. True books on history. There's a book called Medical Apartheid. People wondered why I was skeptical of the shot. the Honorable Louis Farrakhan did say that it was a death plan. And now it's coming out in Congress that, hey, a lot of people had problems with these shots. It's incendiary. It's nothing that can be hidden now. But the mainstream media or the European media is not letting you know about the gravity of what's really going on. And so, we have to focus on the acquisition of knowledge, always trying to find out what the real story is. Because when you watch CNN, you're being indoctrinated, not informed. When you watch Fox News, you're being indoctrinated, not informed. You haven't watched the news. Okay, you've watched something else, but it wasn't the news. Dr. Malvo.
Well, my thoughts is similar. Growing up and reading Jet magazine and Ebony magazine, there was always stories about the African American community that the so-called mainstream did not want to inform of us of. So everything they did was to be advantageous to their community, and to be and make sure that everything they did was disadvantageous to our community. So we have to control the narrative, like I said, and I mentioned this earlier. I mentioned this the other day. We have to create our own African American history courses in the community. If we are not going to be doing, everybody's not going to go to these colleges and universities. So we have to bring it to our community. We have to do this grassroots. And as Brother Eugene mentioned earlier, some of our greatest leaders were grassroots leaders. So we have to have a grassroots approach. And that's why I always praise the Nation of Islam, because it's one of the organizations, the leading organization in terms of being grassroots, being out there with the people, seeing what's going on out there, boots on the ground, and seeing what's going on out there. And that grassroots approach is what it's really about. And even when you look at the organizations such as SNCC or organizations like NBUF or whoever, you see that is the grassroots level that you really need to touch upon in order to get something really going. And I think the Black Panther Party and several other organizations out there today, they still have that grassroots. So the grassroots is where you want to get. It's not going to be televised. The change, the revolution, as they say, is not going to be televised. But we have access, more access now to get information out there on several podcasts that we can really tell people what's really going on in the community. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people in this society are delusional. I want to bring, next time I talk, I want to bring some real numbers in terms of how many African American women are missing in this country, how many African Americans who have been organs have been removed in this country. What's going on right now? They're taking organs out of our bodies. They're kidnapping folk. They're selling folks. There's a lot of sex trafficking, human trafficking going on right now out there. There are people selling drugs, experimental drugs out there on the street. People overdosing, thinking they're taking what they were taking before. They're doing all of these things. And there are people behind the scenes know these things are going on. But there are a lot of people out there between 7 o'clock and early morning and demon time, or whatever you want to call it, who are unaware of what's going on. So I want to close by saying that. And hopefully I'll get another opportunity to come back on. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. And you are a very strong, conscious brother with your finger on the pulse of our young people at the Southern University. And of course, that our airwaves are open to you. I'm glad that you were able to be on with us in our 27th year anniversary. That a distinguished gentleman such as yourself was able to be on with us. Again, I want to thank everybody who has supported the Community Defender Talk Show. Our prayers go out to the Farrakhan family at the loss of our First Lady, Lady Mother Khadija Farrakhan. We're going to keep that family in our prayers. A wonderful woman, 72 years of marriage. We want to keep the Black family as something we want to continue to strengthen And I just want to thank everybody who has supported the Community Defender for 27 years. We could not have done it without you, the people. And I want to thank every guest that has come on. I mean, we've had Geronimo Pratt on. I mean, we've had all kinds of people, members of the Angola 3. I mean, the people we have had on, the Jenna 6,
Yes.
I mean, have been absolutely amazing. And so we thank God for the impact that this show has had. And I'm going to make sure, and we got about a minute left. I just want to thank everybody. I'm really grateful for everybody and what you've contributed. We want to definitely mention Jamila Segmet. We want to definitely mention Sister Khadija, brother Jay Valo. I'm talking about dedicated to trying to make our people more conscious. And you're talking about nearly 30 years. And that's just the one show that these people have worked on. They've been working on all kinds of stuff for decades because the people behind this show love you. You can say what you want. You can agree or disagree with us in our opinions, but don't doubt our love for you as a people. We love you, and we prove it every day. All right. So may God continue to bless you as your brother greets you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, brother Dr. Melville. We appreciate you. Thank you, Brother Collins. We appreciate you and your contribution to our program. God bless, and we'll see you next time.